Hey guys, I got a video here. It's going to be a bit of a series of videos. The video is I had a theory, so I'm into Sn3 now, and there's not a whole lot of Sn3 stuff available for what I want to be building. So I was looking at taking an HO model and converting it to Sn3, narrowing the wheels and everything, and then making the domes and stack and the cab a lot larger. And I found this old Kawai model. It's an HO model. It runs on HO track, but it's actually a 1/72 scale, which I'm told is a British scale. And everything is a little bit bigger, so it's in between S scale and HO scale. So I got looking at it and the size of the cabs and everything, I started thinking, wow, this is almost perfect for narrow gauge S scale. So this one that I convert came from an IMP, no, actually a Kawai model. This is the box. They also run under the name IMP and ACI. So you can look out for those. I believe this is the ACI version and these two are the Kawai versions. I'm not sure if I had an IMP. It's a very cheap model and it will fall apart in your hands as you start taking it apart. Now I'm not sure which versions are better, maybe they made them better, and then there's some, like this one for example, that's a tender driven, so you got the drive shaft going through the cab and everything. Mine had the motor built into it, into the front. This one, it doesn't even have a motor, but it probably was for in the cab. So I just found these for super cheap. I think I got my model for about $20. I have seen them go up to like 100 and something on eBay. I don't know who's paying that because it's kind of a cheap model. It's way too big for HO scale in my opinion. But it makes a perfect hack job. So in this video, I'm going to take this thing, rip it apart. My theory was, I wonder if I can convert this to Sn3 scale, and it worked out perfect. It was supposed to be just a quick job. I wasn't going to do much to it, but because it worked so well, I was like, oh, I'm going to keep adding parts. And I just kept on adding parts, more parts, more parts. It wasn't even my intention. I just wanted to see if it was possible, but it became an incredibly beautiful model. And you'll see as I go, I put in different motors and I upgrade them because it's turning out so well. And finally, it's got a Boo rim gearbox in there and a Sagami motor, and it just runs beautifully now. And it's got hatches, doors, all kinds of things, moving guys everywhere. Yeah, it was an incredibly fun project. Now this is not for the faint of heart, so if you're gonna do this, I'm just warning you, if you go to this extent, it's a big project. It's for a good modeler or somebody that can make their own parts. It's not a quick job, and it probably took me almost a year to do, being distracted with other things. So follow me in this and have fun. Now that all the wheels are unassembled, then I'm just gonna hammer one side down. I'm gonna lay this flat on the other side of the table. Note that where the screw goes into, there's that sticks out a little bit further, so I want to hang that on the edge of the table so I don't push that. It'll flatten that and probably push the wheel sideways and even drive it down the shaft. So I want to take that and just put it on the edge of the table here, so it will hang off because that is sticking off. I'm just putting a little piece of brass tubing around the driver, and then I'm just tapping them and it slides down. Alright, now that it's slid down, we're going to take the Atlas Super Saw, and I'm just going to cut about 2 millimeters off of here. Now I'm going to use the NMRA standard, but it's about 2 millimeters, so I'm just going to cut this off, and then we're going to bring the wheel up. Now I'm gonna use the gear puller, and we're going to put this back to the Sn3 standard. So I just put the wheel in there and start turning. We're gonna pull this back, and then I'm going to try and solder, put a little solder on the wheel and the axle and see if I can get a contact. Otherwise I might just go past it, put a little bit of glue in there, and then put the wheel back on, or we'll see what works. And that is exactly at Sn3. So solder didn't work. It doesn't solder onto this, it's solder onto the shaft but not onto the wheel. So we're using the next best thing. I love this stuff, it's BSI, super fast glue. I'm just going to put a little on the shaft, and then we're just going to squeeze the wheel back on, or bring it out, and that's enough. I mean, the wheel's not going to move now, so it definitely won't move then. So I'm going to put a little glue on, and we're going to squeeze the wheel back on. Perfect. Here you can see the difference in how much we pushed it on. It's about 2 millimeters. Alright, now we have all 3 wheels regauged to Sn3. So now what I'm going to do is this gear has to be slid back just about 1 millimeter back to center. So I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to put it back in the gear puller. I'm also going to put a little dab of glue on that and then slide it down. And it looks pretty center. Alright, now I'm disassembling the main frame here. Took this off. That can be set aside. Now what I think I'm going to do is I don't want to make this more narrow because I want to just screw back in after to the running boards. So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to unsolder this. I'm going to unsolder everything basically, and then none of this has to change. The only thing that has to change is the main frame right here, this piece. This will just get taken in. I'm just gonna, when I unsolder everything, I'm gonna shave this side down by 1 millimeter and this side down about 1 millimeter, and then I'll take out this one. There's another one in here, and same thing, 1 millimeter, 1 millimeter, and then I can solder all this back on. I'll also want to take off this hanger or bracket or yoke, I guess, and this, I only need to take off this, bring it in again 1 millimeter on either side. So there's not a whole lot to do. It should go fairly quick. I'm gonna solder this off now. Gonna take this little piece out now. Gonna pull this center piece out now. And now this whole cylinder assembly and the yoke should all come out together with this screw. Now with this, all I'm gonna need to do is, I guess, take this out, yeah, and then I'll just file this down 1 millimeter on either side again. Now I just need to take this piece out of here and take out this piece. And that's it. Everything is apart. Now to cut it all down. As you can see, the difference between HO and Sn3 is when I measure it, it's about 2 millimeters and just a hint difference. So I'm gonna go about 2.5 millimeters. So it'd be 1 millimeter on either side and just a hint. It's better to have it cut down extra than not enough, because then the wheels won't be able to slide through everything. But they can slop back and forth. If I need to, I can just put a washer on the frame or something. But yeah. So probably what I'm gonna do is just measure everything about 1 millimeter in on everything, and then just draw a line across and just take a normal file and start shaving it down until it's a millimeter in. I'm gonna go 1 millimeter in just a tiny bit, so that it'll be 1 millimeter and a tiny bit on either side, which will be about 2.5 millimeters, which I'd rather have narrower than not narrow enough. I'm gonna do the majority of my cutting with this, just shave it down, and then I'll clean it up with a file. Just doing a little test fitting, and after I shave down this front pilot piece, and it slips in and out perfectly, so we're off to a good start. Well, there's all the pieces cut. So that got cut. This got cut on the sides. This is what holds the wheels up inside. This is the pilot. Slips in between these. And then more braces. And they're all cut. About 2 millimeters on either side and just a little bit extra. Now this guy I haven't done yet. It's like these two. They're just the spacers. Kind of hold the whole thing together. This guy, I'm actually gonna flatten these guys and then re-bend them. I'm not gonna cut them because if I cut these off, then they're just gone. So I'm gonna flatten this so it's just one flat piece and hope it doesn't break, and re-bend them 2 millimeters in, and hopefully I get it right, and hopefully it won't break. All right, there it is. I just bent it with with pliers in my hand and made the bracket. It looks pretty good. So now that everything is done, I'm going to start soldering everything back together and test fit along the way. Alright, I got this first piece all tinned and ready to solder on. So I'm just going to stick it right on there. Start with the back first. It seems to be more beefy and it'll hold everything so I can do the front later. There it is, all soldered back together. Now I just need to, this actually fit in here. I didn't need to add any spacers because I didn't need to narrow this section. I just need to, fit a few more things, a couple more filings, and this just needs a little bit more shaved off to slip in there. And the drivers all drop in perfectly, all nice and straight. And so I'll just touch up some more things, then we'll put it all back together. Okay, so everything is back together and it rolls perfectly. So no binding, the quartering is all good. Now what I need to do is, because the wheels are more narrow now, the crossheads here, the link, is more slanted, so it's going to be pulling on this on the rails here. So what I'm just going to do is take this assembly out. I'll just bend this on an angle up and this one down so that it's not putting pressure, because right now it's trying to pull this way because the wheels are narrower. Just show it free rolling. Rolls really nice, and the more it gets used, the more it'll work itself and roll even better. But that's really good, I think.